So we're back, part 3 of our series of what is thought, what is it good for, what is it doing in our life, and does it make sense to know about what thought is. So far we discussed many things about what thought is, where it comes from, how it's shaped, what its interaction with in our life is, what its relationship with consciousness is, and what is it good for, and so on and so forth. Now, I hope you did take a look at the previous video with the excerpt that I put in there to show part of the seminar that I had at a local university about the effect of thought and fear in relation between thought and fear, and the power of thinking and how it directs the energy of the universe that flows through us and helps us to achieve certain things that is not possible to achieve it only on a physical basis. And I hope that stirred up a little bit of a pondering in you to understand the power of mind and role of thought in that, because it is the thought that directed that mood of what you saw in the excerpt, the unliftable body. So where did that come from? It was a thinking that created, directing and controlling the energy that we are all made out of, and it was able to create that environment or the frequency where that energy directed in such a way that the mass of our body was influenced by it so heavily that it lost the way of following the rule of physics on this earth. The gravity was affected. In fact, if you look at that excerpt a little bit closer. So, and if you want to know more about it, of course, it's elaborately the meditation part and where this power comes from, how you can strengthen your mind and learn how to create this understanding and learning in yourself, is of course in one of my books, Me, My Psyche and I, which of course if you go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, you have an option of looking at the chapter or the book and so on and so forth. And you have an option of the print version or the ebook version. It's now very easily possible for everyone to have a copy if that is what is you're interested in continue discovering, exploring this topic. Now, of course, if should you decide to want to talk to me in person regarding your issues or this topic or any other topic that involves thinking, consciousness, fear, desire, and ego, and the challenges that you're facing in life, of course you have that option on my site as well, and you can see how you can make an appointment and we can discuss it and explore it together. Now, so coming back to our discussion of importance of thinking, you can see how thinking affects every aspect of life, including the direction of the energy that flows through us. Through the excerpt that I put there, of course, it was very apparent, and also in being able to understand the importance of understanding the role of thought in everything else that we do, such as creating fear, such as creating desire, such as our ego is all by thought. The role of thought, the role of how we feel, how we act and react and things, all based on our thoughts. And in fact, a thought goes further into its role in our life, which its job through its housing, so to speak, the mind, the job of the mind is to create a safe environment and help us to survive, and therefore it looks for trouble all the time. And through thought, it tries to understand what is the environment like. Is it safe or not? Is there trouble or not? So it conjures up things that you didn't even want it to conjure up, because it tries to keep you safe. What you're worried about, what you should worry about, what even doesn't exist, it creates that for you to be alert of certain things, depending on what it feels that you perhaps need to pay attention to keep you safe. And often then this thinking fueled by fear and concern and disinterest of things and worry about that what you don't like to become part of your life. And these are the mechanism of security that the mind is always involved, and creates thoughts that you didn't even ask, and it didn't even doesn't matter in your life, but it's there because he wants to do an excellent job of protecting you by creating even fictitious dangers and fictitious worries, by creating thoughts that are unwanted or uninvited by you, and it's irrelevant to you, but it creates it in there for you to somehow be aware of it, or be able to protect who you are, how you are, what you are interested in, rather than what you're not interested in, and be safe from the attack of what you're not interested in your life, which it creates an illusory thinking through the mind to save you or protect you, a security system that you have. And that's called transient thoughts, which of course Transient Thoughts and Me is one of the other books that I have that you can again take a look at the table of contents, and the sample chapter is available on my site, mind@seekstruth.com, and check it out and see if that is something that can help you out. Now, so we can see the importance of thought in every aspect of our life, including creating desire, creating fear, the ego, and shaping us the ways that we didn't even thought we would be interested in, such as being overly interested in certain activity that consumes our mind, or in a relationship, let's say you're interested in this lady and you're infatuated by her, and these thoughts constantly. Well, but when you don't think about it, there is no infatuation. You're dealing with your life and everything else that you're supposed to be dealing, and you're having that balance. So thought has a lot to do with your mood, how you think, how you behave, how you feel, all that. So if we understand what thought really is, that we are thoughts, and we should be able to see which thoughts we want to follow, which thoughts we shouldn't follow, because it has nothing to do with us, but it's there. Why? Because we have a capability of thinking. Why? Because many of these thoughts comes from our own experiences, the field of the known, the knowledge that we have in our consciousness, and therefore thought is born from it, and it's based on our own experiences and what we've been exposed to, religion, dogmas, and traditions, and books we read, and movies we watched, and whatever else, and so on. And some of the thoughts that we talked about, transient thoughts, have nothing to do with you. They just appear in your head, and that's because you have a capability of reaching way outside of your consciousness and being able to interpret thoughts that are in the collective consciousness of the universe, and it's floating around. It's like if you think of your television set or radio, and you open, you turn on the radio or the television set, and you keep changing channels, you keep getting different programs. But these programs that you're able to see on the screen of television or hear from your radio receiver are not created by your television set at your home or by your radio set at your home. They're just receivers. They just receive it. They have nothing to do with having with its production. It was produced by somebody somewhere else in some station somewhere in the world, and you happen to be able to receive that transmission through microwave and new technology and so on and so forth. So you can receive all kinds of programs, things all around the world, and it has nothing to do with you or your television set or your radio receiver. But it has a capability to receive all these things, your television and radio. The mind is the same. It's like a television set. It's like a radio receiver. It can receive all kinds of programming, signals, thought patterns, but it's got nothing to do with you if it's not something that you desire or you're interested in. But it has a capability of bringing them to your attention. But it doesn't mean just because it came to your attention it has anything to do with you, or you should be concerned about it. It's, again, the same as the television and radio. You can receive all these information and interpret them and turn them and make sense out of it, or somehow give it a certain kind of a interpretation characteristics. So thought, mind, and through which the material process, thought, and in connection with the consciousness and all the other things that it can create, affects every single moment of our life. And it is important to understand the role of thought, where it comes from, how you can harness it, what things you should pay attention to or not pay attention to, how to strengthen your mind, how to bring relaxation through meditation and understanding the function of your mind, and to be able to have a better quality of life by having this knowledge about yourself, who you are, what you are, how you're put together, and so on and so forth. I hope this series that we just had, I guess 3 or 4 videos, would help you to understand a little bit better about yourself, which is the accumulation of your thoughts, consciousness, then derivatives of it, fear, desire, and ego, all has to do with thought, and therefore understanding that thought is how we live. Through thought, we live. We are thought. And it is like we are negotiating and understanding, absorbing life through thought. And through the information that we gather into our consciousness, we're trying to interpret the actual universal existence that we are swimming in it. It's like with a limited amount of information gathered in our consciousness, we're trying to interpret the extremely amazing amount of information and opportunities that is out there. So we should learn not to limit ourselves to our thought, because thought is limited, because consciousness and knowledge is limited. Not to limit ourselves to our thoughts, just as, and to understand that our consciousness is limited, and therefore that limitation should not represent the limitation of our life, and we should go beyond it. And to understand that more is like consciousness, with the amount of information that it has in it, has put a frame around your understanding, your connection with the universe, and limited you to think that everything in your consciousness is everything that exists. But it's not true, because it's just like the virtual reality goggles that you get and you put on your head and you watch a movie or play a game, and because it has limited the frame of your field of vision, all you see is that movie, and outside of the field of vision and the frame of that virtual reality goggle, you can't see anything else. So you believe what you see in the movie is the totality of what can exist. Therefore, you get really excited or you get really affected by the scenes in the movie. If you're falling off a cliff or if aircraft is flying, you feel it because you think that's the entirety of the existence of whatever it is that you're in contact with. The consciousness have done the same thing. It's like that virtual reality goggle that has been put on your head, and through that you think the whole world, the whole massive, exciting world out there has been limited to your consciousness, and therefore you're dealing with understanding of this amazing opportunity of life through the limited abilities and information that you have in your consciousness. So you're trying to see the vast, big universe through a small hole of knowledge, which is your consciousness. So once you try to take your thoughts off of your consciousness and live with the now, rather than living in your consciousness, which consciousness is the past, then you will be able to actually see the entirety of the whole universe and opportunities, and be more hopeful in life, and understand that thought is limited, but it shouldn't be limiting your life. I hope it's something for you to enjoy and ponder on this series that we had, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.